Hey YouTube, welcome back to our channel. My name is Elena.
And I'm Bjorn.
And we are Viking Age reenactors and living historians here to talk with you about your favorite Viking shows.
We are finally starting Season 2 of Ragnarok and could not be more excited about it. We've been waiting forever for this, so let's jump right in. Don't you tell another truth. My heart isn't Freya was the deciding character in this episode.
Yeah, so we start off learning a little bit about Freya in the very beginning, and all of it is exactly correct. She was a very loved goddess. She was thought to be, goddess of love, but also goddess of war. She was the one that led the Valkyries to the battlefield to pick off the dead.
Yep. Yeah.
To come with her.
Yeah, absolutely. She was fearsome and she was sexy. And that's kind of something I try to clarify a little bit too. At least to my understanding, it's not even that she's necessarily the goddess of like love specifically. It's more just like sexuality. I feel like, yeah. It's a little bit more like carnal, I think, with her, and like the comparison with Frigg, who's often associated with like love and marriage and things. She still has like those elements, but it's just like a little bit of like a different version of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of where the whole love angle comes in from is in her hall when she would choose her half of the dead warriors that she would get to keep, and the rest would get sent to Odin's hall. She also housed, dead wives of those men as well, if they chose to go and be with their husbands in the afterlife. So she kind of was seen as the goddess that would bring the family back together, almost, the husband and the wife. And I think that happened if the wife decided to be buried with her husband, and the husband was going to Freya's hall, so she would join him there, basically. That didn't happen in Odin's hall, but I think that's why she was kind of seen as that, goddess of love. Definitely. And relationships, and she was invoked in that respect as well.
Definitely. And I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Freya and Frigg as well, too. Early on, like kind of before the Viking Age, they might have even originated as the same deity, and then through time kind of split off and became two, like, kind of dual aspects of each other almost.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot that can be said about Freya.
Valfar, du ønsket jeg ville fortelle det gamle budskap så best jeg minns.
She was also one of the Vanir gods, so she actually came over after the Asa Vanir War to Asgard to live as a hostage. She taught Odin Seether magic, so she's a very potent, powerful wizard, a magician of sorts, which I guess they're trying to show here in Iman?
Ja, hun ba meg finne lederen for kampen og hjelpe ham. Hva nå det skal bety.
Det betyr at vi to skal slåss mot jättene.
Holy crap, watching her last season, I thought that she actually already knew some stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that she was kind of in the know, and, she had some kind of a foresight to what was going on. And here she's coming in and she's just like, well, I'm likable and I can flirt.
Yeah.
I know nothing else.
The cashier lady told me I was special, but I already knew that. Like, oh boy. All right.
Yeah.
Does it have to be you? Do I have choices? Oh, okay.
I'll give it to Mange. He's staying very, casual about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, okay, I'm talking about your powers.
Oh man, Magna is a great choice to have them be introduced to each other. It's pretty great. Yeah, let's hope that her thing develops a little bit more, and she kind of comes into her own.
Yeah.
Jeg tror. Du har veldig lyst til å hente en drink til meg. Jeg har lyst på en vodka Red Bull.
Ugh.
Og den skal du hente på knærne.
So, yeah, that becomes the big question. If Iman is supposed to be the embodiment of Freya, or Freya reincarnated, or she's the one that's getting her powers, they're doing an interesting job of showing that, because the power that they're showing here is that she has this mind power. She can make people do things that she wants them to do.
Yeah.
And I don't really see that being as a power of Freya, and I'm actually having a lot of trouble figuring out who I would attribute that to specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little interesting. Like, I can kind of see it in the sense of, like, not so much as just having mind control powers, but, like, using her, like, sexuality and flirtatiousness to trick and convince people into doing what she wants. But I also feel like the same thing could be said for Loki. You know,
I
like,
mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, the one story that I can think of off the top of my head when it comes to Freya is how she got her necklace, Brisingamen. She was basically out traveling, and she saw dwarves making this beautiful necklace that she really wanted for herself, and she kind of used her sexual prowess to convince them to give it to her.
and then her husband didn't like it and left. But yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely those kind of elements of, you know, her kind of using her sexuality as a weapon, which, by all means, lady, if you gotta flaunt it, I suppose, if that's your way around things. And so in that sense, I can kind of see what they're doing here, but it comes off a little bit strange.
Yeah.
It's like her enforcing, like, her will over others, but by being flirty.
And I think it might also just come down to the way that they're portraying it, because, you know, she just gets this, like, look in her eye, and she's just like, you're gonna do what I want you to do. And it's like, that's not her using sexuality. That's her, like, literally using mind control.
Yeah, that's her having watched Queen of the Damned the night before, and it's, like, trying to be all, like, mysterious and...
So, I don't know. I'm questionable on that aspect right now, but we'll continue watching and see what happens.
We'll see how it develops.
She's just starting to come into her power.
Yeah, right. I feel like the cashier lady is just watching her like, well, we need to talk more. We need to have it side by side.
We need to have a girl discussion.
Yeah, we need to have a girl night. We'll sit down and we'll get this flushed out. It's fine.
Det går helt fint. Hvis du til gjengjeld vil si til den store gutten din at en gud vil møte ham I dag ved broen med de første ordene fra Volvens spådom.
The intro to Völuspá, the very first stanza of it, that was repeated, I'm pretty sure 100% correctly, from what I can remember in here.
Yeah, it depends on the translation or whatever, but...
Yeah, the translations kind of differ a little bit, but it's basically the very first stanza of the poem. Now, Völuspá is a poem. It's the prophecy of Ragnarok, of what's to come, and literally translated Völuspá means witch's prophecy or a Volva's prophecy. It's a poem that is spoken by a witch or Volva to Odin, and she basically tells him the past, present, and future from the beginning of the universe, and how Odin and his brothers created Midgard and everything else that happens, and then the future that leads into Ragnarok. And at a certain point, she starts asking him constantly, have you heard enough yet, Allfather? Have you heard enough yet? So she's basically the one that gives him a lot of knowledge that he has, and why he knows of Ragnarok coming in the first place, which obviously stems a lot of the stuff that he does moving forward. The fact that it's the old lady at the cashier counter that basically sends Mange to the bridge, and also gives Iman that beginning of stanza of the prophecy to speak to him, kind of tells us that she is a Volva, a seer. I don't know if she is the same one that originally gave Odin the prophecy or not, but she is that representation. She is the one that is probably going to be spearheading and leading this whole thing and giving them all the information that they need at certain points in the season, leading up to the big fight. And that's kind of cool. So she's definitely gaining a bigger role in this season than she did in the first one.
Definitely.
And of course, she's the one that's waking up the gods and everything like that.
Han kan fremkalle lynene.
Man får tak I hammeren.
Nei, han jobber med hendene. Han er ved å bli usårbar. Det er bare de gamle våpnene som kan skade ham. Jeg spyr av demokratiets spilleregler. Ordføreren svarer ikke engang når jeg ringer. Jeg er helt alene I dette her. Uten
Cool that she's got, like, a bow like Skadi, but if she's Ron, she should have some kind of, like, net. Like
Yeah.
Ron's net. The famous thing that, like, can throw out and catch dead men and money? That's what I want.
When they mentioned that they would need old weapons to defeat Magna, I was kind of expecting some cool-looking old shit.
Yeah, like a relic or something,
Yeah.
something cool, like under lock and key, not just in like a zip-up bag or like wrapped in a towel.
Yeah, I don't know. So far we've seen a spear and we've seen the axe, and I think we saw the axe last season. That's the one that was in a display case,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah. Both of which look like they're from my Assassin's Creed run-through. I get it, because it's trying to be all like, ooh, a spear. Haven't seen those before. But I almost wish it was just something, like, cooler. Like, some, like, Damascus blade, Or just something, like, shiny and elegant looking.
Yeah.
Not just, like, it's got spikes on it. It
Yeah.
looks like you're trying to spear a whale.
I mean, to be fair, they did say old weapons. They didn't say it was their weapons. Maybe they just got them from a past battle or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. There's nothing Viking about those weapons specifically, except that the Vikings used axes and used spears. Actually, as the primary weapons, so good on them for getting that right. We haven't seen a sword yet come out of their house.
I think it's more just that it would have been nice if the design was closer to Viking Age style design, because
Yeah.
they have a spear and they have an axe, but the design of them does not really make me think Viking Age. It makes me think fantasy. Well, at least he's not watching Marvel Store to get his ideas.
I mean, I think, I don't know.
Kan du spille her, tror jeg?
Ja, selvfølgelig. Selvfølgelig kan jeg det. Jeg begynner med en gang.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Mjolnir hammer being made, and seeing if the mechanic has any more significance to him, if he ends up having one of like the dwarf's names that made the hammer to begin with.
Jeg synes det er fint at Laurits bruker sminke, og at det eksperimenterer litt både med seksualitet og kjønn. Altså, det er veldig vanlig. Jeg gjorde også det da jeg var 17, og det er 4-5 år. Unnskyld. Da er det skolebrød. Gratulerer med dagen, pappa.
What a supportive mom.
Right?
Pappas favoritt, da. Og så fant jeg et bilde av alle 4. Så bare er ikke koselig.
The first time that I saw the photo, I had to go back and actually like look at it again. It looked like Laurits' face was like half alive and half dead. I think it was just the shadow on it really that made it seem, but like maybe through like trickery of light or something like that, it really looked like it was just cut down the center, which, of course would allude to the goddess Hel, but she is his daughter, so.
What if they do some weird thing where like through Laurits there's elements of the 3 monsters or whatever of his children.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that maybe the way that they lit that photo is like a little bit of an Easter egg.
I kind of saw that at first too, but my mind immediately just went to like, being half giant or something and like not fitting in with the family. Because it seemed like they really stressed that of like, the 3 of them all together and the dad like holding up Magna and then like dragging the other child along.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too,
Yeah,
for sure.
So I was like, oh wow, they really wanted to emphasize that this kid is not a part of this family.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's also very true, and I think that is also very symbolic of the way
Yeah.
that he feels about the family right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably why he was like, staring at it so much too, and just kind of like seeing that be so represented at like a young age and everything, and like not having that connection with his dad. So
Jeg kan hende at det er en grunn til at du føler deg litt
here we
annerledes.
go. Here it is.
Betty.
Perfect timing, kitten.
Men jeg tok et valg og ville at det skulle være mannen min sitt. Men han hånda di.
Laurits.
I just want to start off by saying I'm glad that they're making Laurits and Magna not actual brothers, just like
Half brothers.
half brothers and stuff, which is at least a step in the right direction because Thor and Loki, who these characters obviously represent, were not brothers in the least bit. Not even a little bit. It's a Marvel interpretation.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
Yeah, in Norse mythology, Loki was Odin's blood brother. I mean, he wasn't an uncle to Thor because they weren't even they weren't related.
Yeah.
But in Norse mythology, Thor and Loki did go out and adventure and fight together a lot.
Yeah, they were real good friends, and they spent a lot of time together, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't hang out with my dad's friends.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know. But yeah, so there is, like, a little bit of a relationship between Thor and Loki, obviously. You know, they're huge figureheads in the mythology. But yeah, there's no actual, like, relation between the two of them.
We did say when we were watching the first season, there was that hint that Laurits was not his full brother. That Vidar might have been his dad due to the relations between him and their mom. It's actually kind of interesting to see it come out here.
Yeah, it's glad to see that actually, like, justified and fulfilled.
Can I just say, he seems to have taken the news of Vidar being his dad real well.
Yeah, I want to see how that conversation went down. Like, I would imagine if you're a 17-year-old angsty kid like Laurits, and this dude who's been in the news about, like, abusing the environment just walks in and is like, hey, we're going to ignore for a minute how you wanted to get with my son because you guys are half brothers. Hey, kid, give me a hug. You know, like, can't imagine how that went well. And yet.
And yet, we see them walking out and embracing and having fun. I don't know, something seems off.
Yeah, like, I'd be upset. I wouldn't just be like, Dad! Yay!
But it's actually interesting, too, because the way that they wrote this, now it's setting us up for the next 5 episodes of second-guessing where Laurits's trust will lie, basically.
Yeah, I can foresee a lot of the two of them trying to manipulate Laurits to come around to helping them and all kinds of shit, so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be a mess.
And we're not going to know exactly where he's going to land until the very end.
There's a lot of potential for some classic Loki shenanigans.
Yeah, and I love that they're setting it up so early because I can already see it, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm about it.
Awesome first episode. I will say that. We're getting some questions answered, so, you know, they're really starting to use the names of the gods. So, you know, Magna keeps saying, I am Thor. I still don't think he is, but, you know, he's definitely like a reincarnation of him or something of that kind. To that respect, I don't think they're going to, like, specifically bash us over the head with, like, this is what they are. You know, it's just like they are representative of the gods.
Definitely.
And that's what it is. And they have to fight for nature and the earth against giants. So it's basically just gods against giants again.
Classic showdown.
Yeah, amid global warming.
Yeah, a timed boss battle.
So that's fun.
Yikes.
All right, yeah, I think that's all we have for today. We'll continue watching and continue looking at what comes out of this story.
Yeah, can't wait to see how it unfolds and what direction to take.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified of our future videos. And we'll see you in the next one.